How's everyone doing today? Well, I'm at my friend Paul's home here, his homestead. I was here last year once, but he's done a lot of work, so I've come by quickly to do a quick garden tour with him
Sure.
and see what he's growing and what he's been doing. So I guess quick introduction, how
Yeah.
did you get into gardening and growing food?
Well, for the last maybe say 3, 4 years, actually no, about 7 years, I've always been conscious of going back to the soil, back to the earth,
Yeah,
and through health challenges as well. I wanted to learn to grow my own food, so I know the value and the quality of my food itself.
yeah,
So and we from a background of natural living, country living. So I actually wanted to come back to the country. So
right.
that's why I came back to the country. And first thing I did is, I wanted to start some gardening. So I got started right away. I knew nothing about planting at all. So I just got started right away. So that's how I got into gardening.
Cool. And
Yeah.
so how many, you've been here for what, 2 or 3 years now, I think?
This is our second year.
Right.
Yes.
So funny story is I was actually thinking about looking at this place, and my girlfriend
That's
came to
right.
knock on it, Kristen, as you guys know, knocked on the door, and this guy stole it out from us, which is okay. It's good.
That's okay.
Yeah,
That's okay.
yeah, it's good. So okay, let's talk about your beds here. I think you said these are all hugelkultur
Okay,
style
yeah.
beds.
So these are from the top, even this left one right here, and from the top all the way down to, I think this one
Yeah.
is culture bed. I dig the first two by hand completely, get the lumber, I mean the wood, and throw it in by hand. But after a while, I'm like, this is too much work. So a friend of mine was here working, actually doing some excavation, and he was able to dig the rest of the beds for me
Oh, that's handy.
and drop the logs inside there. So it was a lot easier.
Yeah.
They're actually in their first year right now, but they're producing quite well so far.
Right on.
They're breaking down nicely. If you scratch away, the soil is very loose. There's lots of worms.
Yeah.
My only problem with this, squirrels. They
Oh.
dig right in and they find any holes, and
Oh,
they
make a little
live
nest.
right in there.
Yeah.
All the nestings right in there.
So what do you have growing in your beds here?
So right now, this is just for herbs,
Okay.
and we still having some issues with fertility. So what came back this year was the sage,
Yeah.
which is flowering nicely. I still haven't learned how to use the sage flowers as yet. I think we can use the flowers, right?
I think so. I've never actually seen sage flower before. I've never grown it. I'm growing it this year as well.
Oh
for the
yeah,
first time.
it's
Interesting.
yeah. So this came up by itself. Parsley,
Yeah.
one came up by itself. I seed some more.
Right on.
This guy's not supposed to be here. This is cilantro. That was over here.
Yeah.
Cilantro. This side here is peppermint, which is still not coming up yet as yet.
Okay.
It's been a very tricky year so far because of the weather.
Yeah.
It's been fluctuating a lot. This is thyme,
Yeah.
which came up back by itself as well. I transplanted some of the thyme in the greenhouse last year, which came back up.
very nice.
So you'll
Nice.
see that. Over here, I was gonna build a very big culture bed here, which I started. I haven't had time to go through all this because there's a lot of stones as
Right,
well
yeah.
inside here. So that needs to be sieved out. But I got arugula,
Oh,
came
cool.
up by itself,
Right on.
and this is just one tree.
Wow, that's huge.
It's huge, eh?
Do you mind if I try the leaf?
Sure. It's just
Yeah.
it's quite spicy. It's nice,
Wow.
strong, eh?
Yeah,
And this is just one leaf. I hadn't added any compost, anything to this as yet. So this is just
that's good.
raw dirt.
Yeah.
So these are some young ones that are coming up, but I noticed that they've been
Yeah, so
eaten
it's
by
u-
something.
That's usually the black flea beetle that does
Black
that.
flea beetle. Oh my
You
goodness.
gotta kind of cover it, and yeah, they're.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And then also kale. This was actually my compost.
Okay.
My compost box that I dump everything out there.
Yeah.
Planted inside there. These were like huge. How amazing they grow fast, and they were very good.
Yeah.
And then in the midst, they were growing out of it tomatoes, pumpkins, and the
Oh,
whole
nice.
works was there. Now this year now is something which a lot of people might ask me if I'm crazy. I think even you yourself, John, says this is a very risky thing to do. I'm growing kale, and then the rest we'll talk about for a second.
Okay.
But I'm mixing kale with comfrey.
Yeah.
Because what I observed, I saw a lot of plants that was growing out of the comfrey roots. They were growing like 3 times the size.
Right.
Looked very healthy. So
Yeah.
I said, let me plant the comfrey in the bed, plant all of my veggies around the comfrey so the roots will feed the soil.
Right.
And then I can always do the chop and drop technique. I can control the comfrey itself.
Yeah.
Don't let it take over the garden
Don't want it
completely.
spreading, yeah.
Don't want it spread. So wherever there's a comfrey, I'll just take it up and keep using this. We also use comfrey for medicine as well.
Yeah.
So it's a good business for us that we can still get comfrey leaves
Right.
to make salves and other things. So kale along here.
Cool.
Another bed of kale. There's a red Russian kale.
Yeah.
And I forgot the name of this kale itself. My wife tends to like this kale, and I tend to like this kale more.
Yeah, I like that kale better.
Yeah, I don't quite like this rough one.
Yeah.
My biggest issue now is our chickens are coming in the garden,
Yeah, okay.
and they actually tend to like the smooth kale,
Right.
which I like, right?
Yeah.
So that's my next challenge is to get them out of the garden.
Right. Yeah.
Over here now we
Oh, look at your broccoli. That's looking nice already.
yeah, it's
Nice work.
very broccoli.
Yeah.
Thank you. And this is cabbage, of course.
Yeah.
We did do broccoli, cabbage, and Brussels sprouts. Brussels sprouts haven't been planted as yet. They came up very slow this year. I'm not sure why.
Interesting.
Yeah, we got some lettuce going on here. These lettuce were actually started in the greenhouse.
Yeah.
And I moved them out, and I seeded more lettuce along, and then I do some companion planting with marigold to keep away bugs and stuff from eating my lettuce.
That's smart.
So there's some marigolds that's coming up, and there's some lettuce that's coming up there.
Very nice.
And I have to watch for the weeds as well.
That's my problem. Too many weeds.
Too many weeds, and sometimes because they're so young, you don't want to take too much weeds out because it will damage the roots of the lettuce. So you wait until the lettuce are a good size, and that's when you take out the weeds, right?
Yeah.
But I don't tend to fight too much with the weeds. I try to learn to work with them rather than them being have perfect gardens, because the weeds actually help to loosen the soil.
Yeah.
They also bring back some nutrients to the soil. So what I tend to do, I just tend to take the weeds, take the roots off, and just chop the leaf up, drop them back right there, so they break right back down to the soil.
That works.
Yeah, I learned that from Ross.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, your Uncle Ross, right? Over here now, last year we planted potatoes here, but we had the potato bugs.
Bugs, yeah.
Nasty bugs. So people said don't plant them back the same spot because they remember the eggs are laying. So we moved the potatoes over there. So this year I'm just doing onions.
That Egyptian, oh no, just regular onions, right?
It's a self-seeding onion. I forgot.
So it's the Egyptian walking
It's the
onion.
one that drops.
Yeah, the Egyptian walking
Yeah,
onion.
it drops and it keeps seeding itself. But as you can see, there was 1 or 2 potato left in the bed because it came up by itself, which I didn't bother with.
Free potatoes.
Exactly.
That's what I say.
Exactly. And then there's some garlic that's coming up.
Oh yeah.
I can see some scapes this morning. I forgot where it was. Garlic scape. Yeah, I think these are garlic actually.
That's the, no, this is the onion still.
It's onion still?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Garlic's there.
So this bed's gonna be onion and garlic only.
Okay.
Over here was a mixture of beets. This beets was actually the full beet. Just for fun, and just drop it in the ground to see what will happen.
Right.
So this is just a beet by itself that I planted, but then I planted beet seeds on the row along there. I haven't seen any coming up as yet.
Yeah, I have a hard time with beets. They don't
Yeah.
germinate very well,
Yeah.
from my experience.
So I'm gonna try using this method instead,
See what happens. Yeah.
right? And then I'm intercropping some peas, just to add more nitrogen to the soil.
Yeah. Good idea.
So this row is carrots.
Yeah.
It's funny. Yesterday I was doing some weeding and I was pull up the carrots, not realizing that it's a carrot.
Yeah. Not too early for those still, right?
Yeah. So there's the beans, and I believe I did some marigolds here as well.
Yeah, I think I saw them.
Yeah. And now, so we got beets, we've got carrots, and then we've got parsnips, which I'm not sure what that one looks like as yet.
I think it probably looks like the carrot a bit too when they come up.
Oh, okay.
I've never grown them myself.
Not there yet. And then turnips, which is doing very well.
Very cool.
And they seem to grow fast.
Yeah.
Now over here, we eat a lot of chickpeas.
Okay.
So this is chickpeas coming up.
Oh, that's what that looks like, eh?
Yeah, last year I did chickpeas, but I started a bit too late.
Right.
And they were bearing, but by the time the frost hit, they didn't mature enough.
Yeah.
So this year I'm gonna get them in early.
Yeah.
So that's what the leaves look like. They're quite nice.
Yeah, I like them.
Yeah,
Cool looking.
they're quite nice.
And then 2 more beds of comfrey here too.
Yeah, so there's 2 beds of chickpeas. There's another one right there.
Okay.
And this comfrey now, I need to cut this back, so I haven't gotten a chance to come inside as yet to cut this back. But you can see all the weeds. They love the roots of the comfrey.
Yeah.
And they do so well, but the soil is very loose because comfrey actually breaks up the soil as well. So it's nice and loose. So it's not hard to weed. But this comfrey, we're gonna actually cut it back hard and then just dry the leaves.
Yeah.
And
Do your salads and whatnot with
exactly,
them. Yeah.
exactly. So I plant some intentionally close at the roots just to see how well it will do.
Right.
Because it's right by the roots, right here.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to plant because they'll fight their way through and you'll be amazed how much bigger they'll be. But I will show you during the season how well they do.
Cool. Well, that looks great for this area here. And just have some more beds out top.
Yeah.
There.
So this again is a mulch leaves I got from Scott.
Yeah.
Basically, I just use it as a cover.
Yeah, and they work well too. To cover.
Yeah, very good. And what I've noticed, during the dry season when we didn't have much water, I didn't have to water this bed at all.
Yeah, because it stays moist underneath.
It keeps the moisture, and I went down just maybe an inch or half an inch, and it was so nice, moist and warm.
Yeah.
Even on a cold day like today, if you feel it solid, actually, it will feel nice and warm.
Yeah, and well, because I think the leaves are still breaking down, so it's like composting, so it heats up a bit, right?
Yeah, and they're giving back nutrients to the garden itself.
Exactly.
And I also did the same thing for the passageway.
Yeah.
I was experimenting using a live or a natural mulch weed layer barrier or using the plastic which you saw up there. Of course the plastic wins.
Yeah.
But this is more natural.
It is, definitely.
It's just way more, and I know I'm building soil as well. So right, I can't build soil with the plastic.
No, exactly.
So right.
Got some beans over here.
Yeah, these are just 3 beds of bush beans.
Okay. Cool.
This one's coming up a bit slower. So it's a slow starter, but these ones are looking so good.
Yeah, they're looking really good over there.
Yeah, these ones maybe
they're nice and healthy.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
So the comfrey is feeding them. So now we have to work harder to make sure we control the comfrey.
Yeah.
Just keep the size down, right?
Definitely.
So that's this bed over here.
All right, so let's head over to the greenhouse and the other gardens real quick.
Yes. Basically, each winter, the chickens sleep in the coop, but this actually, we use a plastic. And the plastic creates a greenhouse effect, so it's actually warmer for the chickens to be outside here than even inside their coop,
Oh, wow.
right?
Cool.
And then all this is filled with mulch leaves, and they they break down on our compost in the house, rather than putting it in that fancy compost that you buy at the store. Just dump it inside here, dig a little hole,
and then there's extra food for them too.
bury it, and they will go and they'll scratch.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, I like that.
And I've actually used at least 70% of this already this year to make a new bed,
Right on.
which you'll see.
Yeah.
Actually, when I put it out there in the bed, you saw the smoke coming up. It's cooking. It's still breaking down, right?
I like your feeders too you have here. Those look like they work really good.
Yeah, they work very good, but it's limited in space.
Yeah.
So actually, I tried this method instead.
Yeah.
And this is actually good for using wet food because what we do is we ferment our grains.
Right.
It swells.
Yeah.
It's actually healthier for them too. So we've been using it's just a gutter.
Gutter, yeah.
Drop it in there.
Use what you have, right?
Exactly. I bought
Paul's
one.
been working on this for the past year. He's been sending me updates through text. I'm kind of excited to see how it's turned out, his greenhouse here.
Yeah, it's probably my best project so far, honestly.
So it's the same as I had at Ross's garden, my uncle's garden, the carport he's built it from.
That's right.
Yeah, and so how was it built? Pretty good?
Oh, it's very sturdy. It's well battled down. Last year we did a test, that very strong wind that passed through. It didn't move at all. So
Yeah.
it's very good. The only thing I wish I had more heat insulation.
Right.
And more heat sinks.
Yeah.
Which I wish I had built the aisle with, let's say, concrete, like poured concrete.
Right, so that holds the heat
that
in.
would be a heat sink. So I'm considering probably doing that, just digging this out completely and make a heat sink all the way through there, and then use that as a heat sink in the winter time. But all these lettuce were transplanted last winter.
Right.
And they came up by themselves.
Very nice.
This time, which is not looking very healthy right now, because the chickens find a way to gut in, come right through, and they'll scratch away crazy right now. So this is the same time that was over there.
Right. Okay.
The tomato was from seed.
Yeah.
That was early this spring, maybe March, April. I planted them. They were going very slow, but once the heat started to stabilize, then things just started to push. I think I saw a fruit on one of these slowly right now.
Yeah, things are coming along.
Yeah, I thought I saw this.
Yeah.
But as you can see, it's blossoming right
Yeah.
now. So this should start to fruit
nice.
very soon. These are
Kale.
different kale, which is seeding.
Yeah.
right? This is color green, which is seeding,
Yeah.
right?
It's amazing how much seed they put out too.
They put out a lot of seed. A friend came by and thought they were beans because they were so huge. Like each pod is so. This is great for us to save seeds.
Yeah.
However, I learned on YouTube that having different species of plants close by each other, that's seeding, they can cross pollinate and you create like a different
Some kind of weird hybrid.
some weird hybrid. So
Yeah.
I've yet to see how it works. If that happens, then I might not see this close to each other, right?
This is crazy. Look
Yeah.
how big it is already.
This was started in the house actually,
Right.
from January.
Wow.
Right? So when it dropped in the ground, it was so mature. It just kept growing. I don't know what it is, right?
So you're gonna be surprised.
And to me, it looks like it's a cross.
It could be.
It looks like
it's a butternut squash.
It's a butternut squash.
Yeah. Wow, I can't believe there's already fruit on that. Look at that go.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's and there's almost one on every
node.
Every node. There's like a fruit. So this is gonna be loaded.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I need to probably talk to you about pruning because they said don't allow everything to fruit out because then they'll be smaller. So
usually
you control.
Usually what I'll do, like so for this, prune off here.
Right, so it doesn't
and then
grow.
Put the energy back in.
Exactly. So I've yet to do that.
Yeah.
Then I also planted some potatoes during March, April.
Wow.
So right now I actually have potatoes ready to eat. I don't see their sizes yet.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh, those are nice looking ones too.
Yeah.
Nice work.
So yeah, thanks. This is so nice and loose.
Yeah.
Right. Which I've learned that they love this loose garden. So I left these for a while, but those can be eaten right now.
Dinner.
Yeah. So all this section was potatoes only, like the different purple ones. You could tell by the stalk it's purple.
Yeah.
There's some fingerlings that's inside there.
So by you planting in here in like March, April, your potatoes, you can harvest them now.
Yeah.
You put another crop in here, so you get 2 crops at your greenhouse.
Which is what I'll do.
Yeah.
Once these are ready, cause I don't think these are fully ready as yet, because I noticed when the skin starts to change and become yellow, then they're almost done. So probably by the end of July, maybe, I'll do another crop.
Cool.
So I have a late crop. I also just for fun dropped some zucchini seeds in there. So this zucchini that's coming up by itself, right out there.
Right on.
Right.
All right.
And then I planted this thing called chayote.
Chayote.
Squash, right?
Okay.
This was planted inside. It was already this long actually when I brought it in here, but I had a massive heat wave that I didn't watch. The greenhouse was closed.
Right.
So I lost half of my seedlings completely. Just died completely.
Yeah, too hot.
So this was struggling, but it came back quite nicely. So this is apparently the lattice trellis you're supposed to use for chayote. So you kind of train the stems along like that. So we'll see if it gives me some fruits.
There you go, everybody. So don't buy trellises. You can make it out of sticks and stuff.
Make it yourself.
Save some cash.
Exactly.
All right. Well.
And there's some tropical plants that I have actually to drop inside there. This is actually an edible plant. It's called Leaf of Life.
Okay.
It's very good for colds and things like those.
Cool. Okay, we'll head over to the last section here. The wash is coming out the side.
Exactly. Wow. And it's gonna run all the way down.
Yeah.
And then I planted some more potatoes along here, so they're coming up slowly right now.
Well, you've expanded quite a bit since I've been here last year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right, so
the last garden.
This was when I was here last year. He only had maybe 1 or 2 beds started here, so it's going to be interesting to see what he's got down here now.
Right. Okay. So right over here, last year I discovered they had stinging nettles like crazy here, and I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna touch it. A friend of mine says, just try planting there. When I moved out all the nettles, the ground was so nice and loose and rich. I planted sweet potato. Oh my gosh. It's the best ever. It was huge sweet potato, and the leaves were so amazing. So I basically restarted this bed again this year. So right now is sweet potato coming up. I actually bought some slips. Yeah. So I just did this morning. I planted some slips. Nice. They're Korean purple. Okay. I don't know what it's gonna be like, so I'll get to try that. Yeah.
Chicken tractor there?
Yeah, we actually processed the chickens this morning, so that's what I took into Mimi. Nice. And here's our bed. Now this bed came from the chicken coop.
Oh, cool.
Right, so this is what's coming from the
nice,
chicken
nutrient
coop.
rich.
Right, should be very rich right now.
Yeah.
Right, but the chicken got in here.
Oh, chickens.
So yeah.
They went all the way down. Look at that.
Yeah, so yeah, they know which one they like, and they just go right after it.
Yeah.
Right. So this is gonna be kale only.
Okay.
Kale all the way down.
Yeah.
And this is a species of amaranth.
Okay.
But from the Caribbean, we call it callaloo.
Callaloo.
And then if you go on West Coast seeds, they actually call it callaloo.
Okay.
Yeah, and so this grows up quite big. What we love about these greens is as you cut it back, it keeps
And I heard you
growing.
can eat the greens too up the amaranth.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we eat it for the leaves itself.
Right.
It's only in
So
North
you
America.
don't really care about the seeds.
We don't care about the
just want
seeds.
the leaves.
It's the leaves that we actually go for.
All right.
There's a lot of iron in the leaves, right?
Okay.
There's a lot of nutrients in the leaves. We save the seeds to replant,
Right.
not to eat.
Yeah.
All right, and then on each end of bed, I've planted zucchini.
Right.
So
Is that my tip so that they grow out? You're not wasting beds.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And then, so this now is just the amaranth, callaloo, all the way down.
Okay.
Um,
Look at them all.
yeah, they're doing quite well.
Hey, can I try one?
Sure.
And they're good to eat raw.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They're not fully ready yet, but yeah.
Tastes pretty good.
Yeah. And there's more marigolds that's coming up. These marigolds actually are starting from seedlings in the greenhouse, and then I just transplant them over here. That's why they're so big right now. One's getting ready to flower right here. So for the amaranth, I have at least 3 different varieties. I'm trying to see what it looks like.
Right.
And one thing I learned, when you start to seed, you actually pluck the seed off so that it gives more energy in the growth.
Absolutely, yeah.
So and I've done that, and I noticed that they've actually grown much bigger.
Yeah, it's like most plants. You want to prune the top so they bush out.
They bush, exactly. So this is a different type. You could tell is the leaves are more rounded. It's a different color. Yeah, and these are peppers. Wow,
Really
they're blossoming already.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're nice. These I got started from first week in February, because I learned from you. Don't wait until April to start your peppers.
Especially because we're a colder climate. You
Exactly.
need to start earlier and get them in the ground.
So I lost most of my peppers actually because of the heat wave.
All right.
I had at least 40, 50 pepper plants, and I maybe end up with maybe 10 or 12. Yeah. And then I had okra, which I didn't show you actually. The okra in the greenhouse is doing so much better. I find that the greenhouse it's a better control environment. You control the heat, control the water.
Yeah.
And I've been using mostly rainwater.
Perfect.
Feeding that one, which does a lot better. So this is okra that's coming up.
Very nice.
And another amaranth by itself. And then the next 2 beds is
More potatoes.
potatoes.
Yeah.
And so some of these weeds, which looks like weeds, we actually use them. So this guy here is called plantain, right?
Yeah.
So our weed that we hate the most is grass.
Yeah.
Grass.
Yeah.
Everything else we actually use as medicine, so we don't take it out completely, like the lamb's quarters.
Yeah, that's.
I take them and put them in my smoothie.
Yeah.
They have good omega acids,
Okay.
right? And I leave
That's the purple vetch.
the fetch.
Yeah.
It's a good nitrogen fixer, so I leave those because they're not very dominant like the grass, right? So again, I'm very intentional, but don't take everything out completely. Leave the good ones.
Yeah.
The bad one would be your grass.
Yeah.
So two rows of potatoes.
I see. Yeah.
Coming
Nice
nicely.
trellises in there for beans.
And then over here, yeah, you'll see my hard work.
Yeah, they're looking good.
Yeah, thanks. I had to go back to the forest and take out a lot of sticks
Yeah, look at that.
for making this trellis.
Wow.
Yeah.
Pretty good job.
And I learned too from there, you put this side brace so it doesn't
right
move.
just at the ends.
Just at the
Yeah.
end, so it doesn't move, it doesn't sway a lot.
Yeah.
Because when it gets heavy, then the wind pushes the whole leaves.
Right.
So 2 rows of beans, and this is red kidney beans. We love red kidney beans, so these 2 sets of trellis, they're 8 foot long and 8 foot high.
Right.
And the idea behind this trellis that they said is you keep the beans growing at this level, so it's easier to reach,
Right.
rather than the other method which you'll see, which I'm using to plant in the tomatoes is called the A-frame. This is kind of an A-frame, but more like an X-frame.
Right.
So the beans stay lower. So once these start to grow, I'll just wrap them around here.
No.
And I do 3 beans per post itself, right?
Very nice.
So yeah, and then in the middle, just for benefit, I planted some carrots.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
So there are carrots coming up in the middle because the beans will add more nitrogen to the soil.
Definitely.
Right, and then the carrots will be much better, bigger, and then more juicier. So carrots all the way down in the middle.
Well, you're using some good systems here with interplanting like that.
Yeah. Why not? Because with this much space,
yeah, you got
why
time to do it.
why waste the space, right?
Yeah, that's like me. I use every inch of my garden beds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should, because plants, I find that they find ways to work together.
Exactly.
And they don't fight each other. They work together for space.
Yeah.
So all the way down, I forgot the names right now, but we have at least 3-4 different variety of beans that's coming up. As you can see, we have a lot of weeding to do. And then over here now is the higher A-frame, which is gonna be hosting my tomatoes. They'll go right up the string.
Yeah.
It was my intention to plant another row of tomatoes, but I lost a lot of them again because of the crazy weather.
Yeah.
But finally I got 2 more.
Oh, I wish I had known. I got tons still I could have brought you.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, lots.
Yeah, I would love some more. I might come for something. Come up for a ride.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll come for some. And then the same thing again, I'm planted some marigolds. Marigolds just come up. And more zucchini.
Yeah.
At the end of the bend, more marigolds. Especially the marigolds around the zucchini will be a good help, I believe, because we have a lot of zucchini bugs last year that came through.
Yeah.
Bush beans at the end, because I was lazy to build more trellises. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, it
So
takes a bit of time.
it takes a lot of time. I'm like, okay, I'm done making trellises. So I just use bush beans instead all the way down. And then over here, more chickpeas. Because we love chickpeas so much. There's more chickpeas that's coming up nicely, yeah.
It's an interesting looking plant, I like it.
It's a lovely plant. I'm like, whoa, because I didn't know what it looks like.
It always looked like a weed to me.
Yeah, it does.
If you didn't know any better.
Yeah, it does. That's why I said to my wife, don't touch anything yet until we know exactly what's coming out. Then you pluck things out. Over here, we have different variety of squashes. You could tell me if this is too close. I think they're too close.
I did mine close together this
year. Yeah, let them do their thing. So they're gonna vine out all over there. So I have at least 4 different variety of squashes.
Yeah.
And on the end, watermelon.
Okay.
Right? So I believe that we'll do good this year, because last year everything was late.
Yeah.
And finally over here is corn.
All right, on.
Corn. The corn started a little bit slow. They're going slow.
Yeah, it's because they need water and they need the heat.
Yeah, it's just they're struggling.
Yeah.
And I think I need more nutrients in my corn.
Yeah, corn's a heavy feeder.
Yeah.
So if you throw some of that chicken compost in, they'll be very happy with that.
So next year I'm gonna get a lot of chicken compost, redo this bed completely.
Yeah.
And also interplant beans. Last year we tried the 3-sister method.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried it before?
I've never tried it. No.
I tried it, but because of our timing, so short window, it's like it doesn't work.
Right.
If we had 4 months, yeah.
You have more time with it, yeah.
But what I'm gonna do though is next year I'll plant beans and corn at the same time. That might be tricky too, because the beans grow much faster than the corn. Yeah. So it's tricky. So this year I'm like, you know what? Forget the 3 sisters. I'll plant them separately. So corn is right here, squash is there, beans is there. The 3 sisters last year we did corn, beans, and squash in the same hill.
Right.
You do one hill, corn going up, the beans run around the corn, and then the squash goes all over. And then the idea is both the corn and the squash feeds from the beans.
Right.
But last year it was crazy. All we got last year was beans and corn. Squash didn't make it at all. And then the very last bed is sunflowers. Sunflowers, because we have chickens. The chickens are gonna love the sunflowers. Yeah. So I have about 3-4 different sunflowers that's coming up here.
I have saved a bunch of seeds. I threw down like 500 seeds in one spot.
Oh wow!
You should see them all.
And then you'll transplant them afterwards, right?
Nope, leaving them how they are.
It's just like that.
It's a forest. It's like
3
feet by 6 feet, and there's probably like 400 seeds down.
Wow,
and they're all about this high already.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Wow! Yeah, this was a bit late.
Yeah.
This was a bit late.
Right on. Well, there you go, guys. There's his garden.
Thank
We're
you,
pretty
guys.
excited to see that.
Yeah.
Thanks for showing us.
You're welcome.
And
You're
as always,
welcome.
don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you out there. Have a great day.
Awesome. Bye, guys.